Tonight we discuss the soaring WSU acceptance and retention rates.
And we'll tell you how you can explore local businesses, all while giving back to a great cause.
And we show you an up-and-coming app created by a WSU alumni. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Jasmine Durachi.
And I'm Emma Jerome. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Murrow News 8 reporter Bradley Warren joins us live now outside Waller Hall with new information about freshman enrollment.
That's right, Jess. That's right, Jasmine. It's really starting to look like this year's freshman class is on track to being one of the largest freshman classes we've ever seen. As of September 12th, the total student population is 21,022, with about 4,500 of those being new freshmen. Enrollment is up 15% from 2017. The spike in new students is not from WSU accepting more applicants, but you see, the university has a process called the MELT, in which a certain number of students receive application with the assumption that several of them actually will never come to WSU. But this year, so many students wanted to call WSU home that many freshmen had to triple up in freshman housing. WSU made many updates to Waller Hall behind me and Orton Hall to accommodate those new students. WSU made about $700,000 in updates. They purchased about 600 new furniture sets, along with recarpeting existing residence halls and testing heaters in the buildings to make sure they were ready to go on day one. We spoke to a source at UCOM, and he said that everything went pretty smoothly on move-in day, and everything seems to be going great right now. Reporting live outside of Waller Hall, I'm Bradley Warren, Murrow News 8.
Thanks, Brad. This week, businesses in both Pullman and Moscow have partnered together to raise money for an important cause. I got to speak to a few of the coordinators and businesses participating to 2 weeks of Pullman.
2 Weeks of Pullman, an ASWSU-sponsored event, aims to connect students with the Moscow Pullman community while also raising money for an important cause.
People can expect just to go explore Pullman and see what Pullman has to offer, find their sense of home, kind of get to know the locals, the mom and pop shops, and just really make those memories as long as they're down in Pullman exploring. Like, this is a really cool, small hometown.
Participating businesses will donate 3 to 7% of the proceeds to the Cougar Health Fund.
The Cougar Health Fund, an account run through Wazoo Foundation, can be accessed by all Wazoo students, and administration hopes that it will be used as a resource for those who need it.
It is a resource, so any student that wants to put on a training for sexual assault prevention or bystander intervention, but they can't because they don't have the monetary funds to, I want this to be that avenue for them to go through.
The event puts a special emphasis on community, which doesn't go overlooked by local business owners.
I believe that if small businesses lifted each other up and helped each other, we could be a more thriving community. You know, if we just had each other's back, you know, locally, could you imagine how our community would prosper? And I feel that that is exactly what both Moscow and Pullman is striving to do.
You can participate in the event through next Friday. For a full list of participating businesses, search 2 Weeks of Pullman on Facebook. Reporting from Pullman, Emma Jerome, Murrow News 8.
Two national research teams led by scientists at Washington State University will continue protecting valuable U.S. grape, onion, and garlic crops from fast-adapting pests and diseases, thanks to a grant of more than $5.5 million. Onion and garlic are among the most valuable vegetable crops in the world, with an annual value of more than $1.5 billion. A company who planned to build a shopping mall along the Washington-Idaho border just pulled up stakes. Boise, Idaho company Hawkins Company recently sold the 270-acre parcel to Pullman Sand Road Bucklers 2 LLC. In the beginning, the building sparked controversy as some believed the building could provide new jobs, local tax revenues, and economic growth. Others worried it could impact local businesses. Almost as soon as Whitman County approved the deal, they put it back on hold because of the economic downturn in 2008. They sold the land for $900,000 in late August.
WSU alum Jordan Miller helped develop an app with his brother to keep people safe while shopping online. The new app, Trader Rater, lets users review buyers and sellers in online marketplaces like Craigslist and OfferUp to bring transparency and accountability to these websites. After getting scammed out of $800 from a transaction with a bad seller, he decided to create a way for people to anonymously review sellers online, since many apps can hide negative reviews. Trader Rater is designed to protect both positive and negative comments. The app launched on August 31st on all devices. When we come back, we'll update you on a new bridge construction project on Highway 95.
And Latah County appoints a new judge. We'll be right back.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
People living in the 4 Mile Creek area of northern Idaho have concerns about the safety of the temporary bridge currently used in the bridge repair construction happening on Highway 95 north of Moscow. The bridge, made of wood planks, causes cars to shake while using the one-lane detour. The $1.4 million bridge replacement construction project continues every weekday from now until the project ends. An Idaho Transportation Department spokesman says they continue to monitor the bridge closely using on-site inspectors and construction staff. Former Magistrate Judge John will take over the Latah County 2nd District Court bench. The position has sat vacant since Judge John Stegner received an appointment to the Idaho Supreme Court. Most recently, Judge worked as a partner at the firm Landeck, Westberg, Judge, and Graham before he became a magistrate back in October of '08. He also served as an adjunct member of the Judicial Council, the Idaho State Tribal Court Forum, the Idaho Supreme Court Guardianship Conservatorship Committee, the Magistrate Standard Forms and Practices Committee, and the Child Support Guidelines Committee.
A Moscow man pleaded guilty to 5 counts of child pornography distribution. Moscow police arrested Peter Joel Wangler after Detective Eric Kiornis found out Wangler used his computer to share the files online. Wangler shared thousands of files with a dozen different investigators. Wangler will hear his sentence in late November at the Latah County 2nd District Court.
And an update on the ongoing battle between Professor Christine Blasey Ford and Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The woman accuses Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her at a party decades ago when they attended high school. They will testify next week, but only under certain conditions. To ensure her safety, Ford's lawyers asked that Kavanaugh testify first, and they have refused any outside counsel questioning her. Kavanaugh continues to deny the allegations with President Donald Trump's support. The president also says he wants to give this process all the time it needs.
Think about anybody else, but I want to tell you that Brett Kavanaugh is one of the finest human beings you will ever have the privilege of knowing or meeting.
The president says he wants to give this process all the time it needs.
Moving from national politics to the local level, Stuart Elway, founder of the Elway Poll, spoke about Washington's shifting political landscape at Washington State University on Wednesday night. Elway analyzed shifting political patterns in Washington following the 2016 election of President Donald Trump. He predicts that a Democratic blue wave may come soon. Elway predicts that this shift is due to rapid growth in Washington, as well as independents starting to shift to the left. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, Ajane Taylor will have your weather update and to let you know what you can expect for the first weekend of fall.
unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
And in the Weather Center, Ijane Taylor tells us what we can expect for our weekend forecast. Ijane?
Thanks, guys. So today our temperatures are a little more mild and our nights are a little bit cooler. In Pullman, it's around 60 degrees, and for your state map, we have a high of 75 in Spokane and a low of 54 in Wenatchee, high of 74, low of 54. If you look to the west side, it's around pretty much the same. We have highs of 70s, lows of 50s. In Seattle, you might expect a little bit of rain. Same for Olympia, and it's going to be cloudy in Vancouver. For tomorrow, we're going to have a nice sunshiny Saturday, high of 71 in the morning, gets a little bit, creeps up in the afternoon, and then mild temperatures for the evening, just a little bit of clouds. And for your 5-day forecast, Sunday, still cloudy. It'll be a little bit of winds, not too much different. Monday, same thing, high of 67, low of 38. Tuesday gets a little bit warmer. Wednesday is 72. Thursday is a high of 70, and it should look like a pretty good week overall.
Thanks so much, Ijane. I'm excited to get back into this fall weather and start wearing my winter clothes again. And when we come back, a preview of this week's WSU Cougar Corner after the break.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebird? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 can you feel the sun?
Well, coming up on WSU's Cougar Corner, we're going to get an update on the new Jason Gesser news. There's some new developments. He resigned. His accuser has actually released a statement. Also, a big football game tonight. Cougs taking on USC down in California. Very big game in the NCAA rankings. And also, we will get an update on our WSU pros. They've continued their season and baseball's wrapping up. So we all get to look forward to that on WSU's Cougar Corner.
A lot of exciting stuff happening.
Where are you guys watching the game tonight?
Might just go home, might just relax, kind of
Right,
got
pop some popcorn.
Yeah, exactly.
How about
Enjoy
I
the
bring the
game.
popcorn and you stream the show?
Deal.
For sure.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm in.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 p.m. for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on.
Welcome to WSU Cougar Corner on Murrow News 8. I'm Matt King.
And I'm Guillermo Mota. Thanks for joining us.
Last Friday, we informed you of accusations of sexual misconduct by Jason Gesser, former WSU quarterback and assistant athletic director for the Cougar Athletics. After the initial accusations, the university supported Gesser, saying that the Office of Equal Opportunity found no evidence of misconduct. On Monday, former WSU volleyball player and nanny for Gesser, Alyssa Wold-Badeau, filed a formal complaint against Gesser. Wold accused Gesser of groping her and attempting to forcefully kiss her without consent. Following these accusations, the university put Gesser on home assignment. On Tuesday, Gesser formally resigned, stating, quote, "I am deeply saddened that the recent circumstances in my private life have created a distraction for the department and university. While I certainly never intended to hurt anyone, I believe it is best for all involved for me to move on. To the young woman that I made feel uncomfortable, I respectfully have a different recollection of the situation you've described, but acknowledge that I should have never been in that situation in the first place, and I apologize. I truly never meant to cause you harm," end quote.
WSU football now has a record of 3-0 going into today's matchup against USC. Let's send it over to Alex Clark, who has a preview for today's game. Alex?
WSU gets ready to take on the Trojans from the University of Southern California, USC. Fresh out of the top 25, looks to get even record after a loss to Texas. WSU comes out of last week 3-0 after a huge offensive game against Eastern Washington. As most of you might remember, their matchup last year will live on in Cougar history. This year, USC will start true freshman JT Daniels after the QB from last year, Sam Darnold, who the Jets picked up in last year's NFL draft.
To meet in order to beat USC the second year in a row?
Well, it all starts with graduate transfer quarterback Gardner Minshew playing well. Minshew has made the WSU offense his own after only 3 games, earning Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week honors the game against Eastern. He doesn't play the flashiest, but he does get the job done. Back to you guys at the desk.
Another sport trying to remain undefeated. Let's talk about the women's soccer team. After winning their first 7 games, the team heads to Los Angeles to take on the 5-1-1 UCLA Bruins. The last year, the Cougs upset the number 2 ranked Bruins, good enough to tie a record for their biggest upset by WSU since the year 2000. The 7-0 start for the Cougs marks their best start since 2015 when they won a record 14 games. WSU defender Maddie Harrow leads the nation in assists and assists per game. Staying in women's sports, the women's tennis team will host the Cougar Classic today through Sunday. Seattle University, the University of Idaho, Boise, and Montana State University will take on acting head coach Trang Kyung. Nationally ranked Michaela Bayerlova and head coach Lisa Hart will not participate in the Cougar Classic. Instead, they will attend the Oracle ITA Masters in Malibu.
A new game has started making its way into Pullman through members of the community. Ryan Peerboom met with the group to learn more about the game of pickleball.
Pickleball has roots in Pullman. Retired Washington State instructor Rex Davis served as the university's men's tennis coach for 28 years.
Well, I played with the guys who originated the game way back in 1965 at a PE convention in Kirkland, Washington. And so I just fell in love with the game.
Davis began teaching the game to education majors at WSU more than 20 years ago. Pickleball has a lot in common with tennis, with a few differences.
The size of the court is the biggest difference, and the ball, of course, it's a wiffle ball. The paddles are wooden. Well, they used to be wooden. The original ones were wooden, but now they got all kinds of composites.
Davis belongs to a small group of local residents that are looking to make pickleball more accessible in Pullman. Colfax priest Al Grasher initially formed the group.
One thing I like about pickleball, the community of pickleball, is everybody's really friendly. I came here not really knowing how to play the rules, and everybody was very open and willing to help and teach me.
Pullman City Councilman C. Brandon Chapman wants to help the group and increase awareness for them.
As we look at redoing tennis courts, we look at maybe reallocating some of those tennis courts to pickleball courts. You can fit more in that amount of space, or even just increasing the amount of space that we use for tennis or pickleball, and that will give pickleball a chance to grow even more.
Anyone interested in joining the group can show up at the WSU tennis courts at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. Ryan Pierce, Murrow News 8.
Thank you. Was that a ping pong racket? Have you ever played pickleball?
You know, in high school, we actually did in PE a little bit. Never really my thing. I'm a soccer player, so pickleball, anything with the hands, not my specialty.
I heard pickleballs. I thought pickles were going to be involved. So, you know what? I'm down to play with you tomorrow if you are. And when we come back, we'll catch you up on the latest WSU sports action.
And a new addition to the athletics family. Stay tuned.
You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
The WSU Cougar women's volleyball team falling short in a 5-set match against the Washington Huskies and now hold a 9-2 record. The Cougars took advantage of 3 straight service errors from Washington to gain an early 5-3 lead in set 1. The Huskies, however, generated multiple small runs to take the lead over the Cougars, eventually winning the first and second sets. The Cougar offense came out in full force in the third set with big swings from Claire Martin and Ella Lejos. WSU continued to ride the wave of momentum into set number 4, leading the way for the set 4 victory. The Huskies and Cougars continued trading points in the 5th, but the Huskies sealed the victory at 15-9. The Cougs will take on the Oregon Ducks in Eugene on Sunday.
Let me tell you, that was an insane game. But the WSU Spirit squad welcomes a new head coach to the organization this season. Jordan Benedict joined the team in August, and with fall sports in full swing, Benedict seems to have adjusted just nicely into the groove of WSU athletics. Before WSU, Benedict spent the last 3 years at Tennessee Tech University as the Spirit coordinator. And as head coach of the co-ed cheerleading squad, WSU Director of Athletics, Patrick Chun, in a press statement, described the Cougar family as excited to add a new addition into WSU athletics.
The WSU women's golf team heads to Coeur d'Alene next week to compete at the CDA Resort Collegiate Invitational. The tournament, hosted by Gonzaga University, starts Monday and ends on Thursday. Junior Mary Lund Hansen, senior Madison Odiorn, freshman Amy Chu, redshirt sophomore Emily Baumgart, and junior Elodie Bryden will compete for the Cougars next week.
It may seem early, but WSU baseball returns for 4 position starters and welcomes in a talented recruiting class that features 10 all-state selections, including a pair of pitchers who chose to attend WSU after being selected in the 2018 Major League Baseball draft. The Cougars host a pair of scrimmages at Bailey Brayton Field this fall, facing Central Washington University on October 6th and Gonzaga University on October 21st.
Man, I'm so excited for baseball season. It's not even over for MLB. I'm getting ready for the playoffs. I just love baseball. I can't wait to get the season started. Hopefully the Cougs can keep.
You know what? Same. Because baseball season is the season where I get my hot dog on, I get my drink on, and also I get to see on those bleachers at Bailey Brayton. Those
There
are
you
great.
go. Can't beat it. After the break, we'll check out the latest news on past WSU athletes and how they're doing in the pros.
And later, a Hall of Famer gives to Hurricane Florence relief. Back in a minute.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Time for our weekly look into the Cougs into the pros. New York Jets linebacker Frankie Louvu continues to accumulate tackles after getting an opportunity to start. Last night in a loss to Cleveland Browns, he made 2 tackles and applied pressure to their quarterbacks. The Denver Broncos signed wide receiver River Craycraft to their practice squad after no other team picked him off waivers. Chicago White Sox pitcher Ian Hamilton pitched 2/3 of an inning versus Baltimore, giving 1 hit and striking out 1 batter.
WSU, they're representing in the pros.
You know what? I can't wait for NBA season because my boy Aaron Baines will be playing for the Celtics. The Celtics are stacked too.
Klay Thompson too.
I know. I hope they win the championship. Before we leave, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, makes a large donation in relief for Hurricane Florence.
We'll be right back.
Is he really the GOAT? Like, I don't think he's the GOAT.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Michael Jordan, a North Carolina native, donated $2 million to Florence Relief and Recovery Aid. Jordan moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, close to where the Category 1 hurricane came to shore. As a child, Jordan, now owner of the Charlotte Hornets of the NBA, explained the devastation he felt watching the damage Flores caused to his hometown, nearby areas. Jordan donated $1 million to each the American Red Cross Foundation and the Foundation for North Carolina's Hurricane Response Fund.
You think Michael Jordan's the GOAT?
You know what? I'm a LeBron James fan. I admire LeBron James. But Jordan, he was just a shooter. He was just a shooter.
I don't know about that, but I'm with you. I think LeBron James just has him by one step.
What do you mean? LeBron James is only a shooter.
That is all we have for you in this edition of WSU Cougars Corner on Murrow News 8.
Join us every night.